I felt like we was making a difference in the world. That's what I wanted to do.
People were taking their jobs and their livelihood into their hands every time they organized. It was risky, very risky.
What kept me going was I like to fight. I like to fight and win.
I had a client and I was her hands, and she loved to sew and she loved to cook. So she wasn't able to do them things. She would tell me how to cut out patterns, and it was a joy, you know. I never had a client that was unappreciated. Just to hear them say, thank you. I said, you're welcome, and I meant that from the bottom of my heart. You are truly welcome.
I think I made a great impact on my children. And every one of my children that left out of my daycare, they have all been honor roll students, go to college. I hear from them every now and then. I had 2 that come here from out of town. They always look me up, call me, want to come see me. And you know, I love that. I love it.
I love my job because it's dealing with people, and I like to help people. The union does the same thing for me because you get to do things where you help people. If I can save somebody's job or help them to get involved in the movement, that's what I want to do.
Well, historically, the work that our members perform, particularly in home care and child care, have been jobs performed by women. And home care in particular has often been performed by women of color. And the Fair Labor Standards Act, a lot of federal laws excluded those workers.
This is Bernita at SEIU HCIIMK, Illinois, Indiana. How may I help you?
I first met Bernita on a picket line in front of Methodist Hospital in Gary, Indiana.
I started work at Methodist Hospital as a nursing assistant in 1976. We didn't have a union at that time, and I and most of us felt disrespected. Schedules were changed. People talked to you any way they wanted to. And for that reason, we decided we wanted to form a union, and we did.
People were just fearless, taking on the company, signing up their other co-workers, and then marching into the company's office to get the union and demand recognition. That took a lot of courage.
We went on strike in 2000, 40 days and 40 nights. It was tough. We were out there in the rain. We stood out there whether it was cold or not, but it was important for us to show the hospital that we meant business.
And it was a huge victory, especially in Gary at the time. I just remember her keeping people up, keeping the spirit going on the picket lines, and she was out there the whole time.
We didn't get everything we wanted, and a lot of people felt it was about money, but I think the biggest part of it was dignity and respect, and we walked back in that hospital and we got that.
I liked fighting for the right thing. They didn't have any respect for us. They talked to us badly, like we was children, and we was adults. And we wanted to be respected as adults, and we wanted to be paid for the service in which we rendered.
Forrestine, she has been a member, I believe, for over 43 years, and she is a warrior, a justice warrior.
The toughest union fight we had was in 2017. We had been on freeze for 3 years, and we wasn't going to take that anymore. They had collected millions, but they didn't want to give any of it to employees nor, improve the residents' surroundings. We were serious. Most of the employees, they stood up.
So I think where solidarity and strategy come together is that people form solidarity first, where they make a decision together that they're going to organize, they're going to take an action, they're going to speak truth to power. How they're going to do that is the strategy.
We're in an association contract, and it has 102 homes. And we had got 50 homes that were willing to all go out on the same day, almost 5,000 people. And we presented that to the ownership. So we negotiated up until after midnight, because we was gonna go out at 6 o'clock that morning, Thursday, and we was gonna walk out to the facility. Everybody was gonna walk out of them 50 facilities.
Literally minutes before midnight, they finally came across. And because Forrestine and her other co-workers were leading this campaign, they averted the strike and they got an average 25% wage increase over 3 years. And they also got increased funding for the pension fund.
It brings me joy when I can get my members to step up.
Get power in numbers. You can't be soft. You get your point across. These bosses, you gotta be tough sometimes. We have been threatened. If you go in the union, you're gonna be fired. You talk to them, you're gonna be fired. So I told them they can't do that. And if we all stand together, they definitely can't do it.
So I feel like with Lula, you absolutely felt the belief, the moral authority that she had that, you know, what is the right thing to do.
We would meet with the politicians and they would say that they was going to be with us. And when time come to vote, some of them would vote no and some would vote yes. But we kept on fighting. We didn't let that stop us.
I think other people saw her do that and they would roll up their sleeves and get in there as well. Like, you got to talk to people, you got to make the phone calls. So I feel like there's real power in the everyday organizing, and that's what she exemplified.
It just run my head, it's good.
I'll never forget Helen Miller. She went to testify and she just went, and all these, big shots are there with their suits and everything on, and Helen says, I want you not to listen with your heads. I want you to listen with your heart. And I was just like, God. She just came out with that and she just completely dominated the hearing.
When you started going to Springfield and you started hearing that the senators and the representatives, they're talking about always they didn't have any money and all of this. The work we was doing, I thought it was very important, the work we was doing, because we was taking care of people that was sick, and we was taking care of people that had contributed to society.
We weren't making any money. We were making $11 a day for a baby. And then we got $8 a day for a 2-year-old and up.
Alma was one of the first child care providers to join the union.
We wanted better things because we were not babysitters. We were teaching the children, working with them, taking them on trips and everything.
She was always ready for action, always ready to visit her other workers, sign them up for the union, and then also turn people out for actions around the state.
Sometimes we would be up half the night when we were talking with the state, trying to get them to compromise with us and give us some of the things that we were asking for.
And she was a leader on that bargaining committee, and that first contract, we won a 36% rate increase over 3 years and fully paid health insurance, which is the first time most child care providers did not have any health insurance.
Oh, there must be more.
Well, Sandra Wiekerson, I've known Sandra for, probably over 30 years now. And I remember organizing her company at Community Care. She's incredibly tough and incredibly committed, was always there. She would go toe-to-toe with the company, too.
We was making $5.98 an hour, and we went down to Springfield to negotiate with the oldest of Community Care, and we asked them would they make it $6. And they said no. They said, if you're not happy here, he said, you can go somewhere else. And he actually told us we wasn't worth 2 cents.
And I was just I couldn't believe he said that. Sandra and all the other folks at the table were just I can't believe he said that, and just went off on him.
Is this really how you talk to your employees to make them feel not valued?
Who do you think you are? And he all of a sudden was backing off. Well, I didn't mean, I'm sorry, started backing off. And then that sort of sparked the campaign, and after that, we just went right after the company.
We asked the lawyer, was it legal for us to take our clients with us and leave our company? And they said we could take our clients. And I asked my clients, if I go to another company, would you go with me? And they say, yes. We threatened community care and we told them, you know, exactly what we was gonna do.
You're looking at all these people in suits, predominantly white men at the time, and you have to tell your story. But you look around and you see all your sisters behind you, and they're cheering you on, and so you open your mouth and you make a sound, and then your voice builds and builds from there because you're tapping into, I think, your heart.
We went from the 2 cents that we asked for to about a 40-cent raise. I think that was the largest I ever had. I began to see what you can do if you got involved in the fight.
When I think about a lot of the women, a lot of the organizers and members and leaders that I've worked with over the years, I stand on their shoulders. When I was growing up, my father used to send us to live with my grandmother, who was a domestic worker. She lived in a tenement in Brooklyn. She would take me and my brother, we'd get up at 5 a.m., go to church, 6 o'clock mass, and then we would go with her as she went to clean people's homes. And, you know, it was just like the way she was treated, you know.
I used to say a prayer on my way to work. I would ask God to keep me humble, keep me with a willing spirit. I asked him, whatever was going on, just go out to be the best person. Do something to make a difference in people's lives.
Going from my experience with my grandmother or my own situation about, gee, you just can't win. You know, you just can't win. I learned through Acorn organizing and union organizing that actually, yeah, you can win. If you organize and if you're disciplined and just keep going at them, you're eventually going to win.
I went to jail in Springfield, and that was kind of scary, but I knew in order to win that we had to go to extreme measures.
I'm quite sure they told you I've been fat a number of times up there. Okay, but I always got fired for doing the right thing. Some people ask me, why you stay so long? Well, you can't run. And then if I run, what am I teaching my kids? So I stayed there and fought the fight.
SEIU Healthcare Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Kansas is now the largest local union in the Midwest, one of the largest in the country. Pioneered in organizing home care and child care workers. We've changed the lives of tens of thousands of home care and child care workers, where they were at one point making much less than minimum wage, around $1 an hour, to where today they make $13 an hour. They had no benefits to speak of, no health care, but today they have health care, they have training available to them. Our nursing home members, who historically were amongst the lowest paid, saw significant increases, improvements in their health care, and actually have a pension that is growing in this moment. Our hospital workers are now on the cutting edge of building hospital movement. We're really proud of the union that we've become, and we're really excited about what we can do in the future as well.